Hey, welcome to this video where I'm going to show you how to use the saw to make your saw cuts to make this joint for the corner of your tray. So I am here at a vise which I'm going to use to clamp my wood in. I also have my two pieces of wood that I marked which parts are going to be taken off, and then I have this Japanese dovetail saw which I'm going to be very careful with. That's why it's in a sheath here. Oh, this one hasn't been opened yet, so I get to be the lucky person that gets to take the wrapping off. All right. These teeth are hardened steel, which means that if you hit this against some metal parts here and the teeth bend, there's no sharpening it. Then I have to replace the blade, which is expensive. So be really careful with this when you use it, not to hit the vise or the corners of the table that are metal. You're going to start with this piece here that has these fingers on the end that you marked on the corners, and we're going to cut those off with that saw. So I'm going to start by putting this in the vise, having it stick up a ways so I'm not hitting the vise with the saw. Clamp it in until it's in there tight, and I also want to make sure that the board is about straight up and down, which it is, and that'll help you cut straight down. So I'm going to put my finger on the top of the saw here, and that'll also help my brain know where straight is. And then I'm going to line that up. You can see where the marking gauge marks that, and when we're finished here, that's going to be this part here, and I actually want that maybe to be a little bit thicker so that it squeezes this middle finger enough to hold the joint tight. So when you line this up, I'm going to be maybe just a little bit on the inside of that mark. And then I'm ready to start cutting. At first, I'm going to go really slow. And this is a Japanese saw, which means it cuts on the pull. And I'm going to try to cut this real slow. I'm not pushing down very hard. I'm just letting the weight of the saw do the pushing. And what I'm looking for is that I look and go just to the bottom of where this mark is, and then I stop. I'm going to do the same from the other side. Get this lined up on that mark right there. Maybe just a little bit to the right of that. Take my time and make sure I'm cutting straight down, straight across. And then when I get down to that line, I stop. Carefully set my saw down. So now I'm ready to cut the other direction. So I'm going to loosen this up, move this sideways, try to make it parallel to the ground. That'll help, like that. And I'm going to cut this corner off. So just like I did before, I'm going to find where I marked that with the marking gauge, and I'm going to line that up. And then I'm going to cut this slowly until that piece falls off. Carefully set my saw down, flip this over, make it parallel with the ground, and do the same thing. All right. So that side of the joint is done.